for our second segment of Sundays with Shea, Monroe. Last week, I actually implanted myself. I told Coach I wanted to be a part of the entire experience, and I'm going to walk you guys through that before we get started, and then we're going to ask Coach about it. I met you guys at Western Sizzling, Rainbow City at 1 o'clock, and it's very well organized. Shea actually had a chart laid out of exact times that they were leaving, departing, loading, unloading the buses. So we eat there, then we drive, make the trip up to Oakman High School, and I'm sure you will give them props in a minute when you start talking. Very nice indoor facility. You guys did your walkthrough. You went ahead and got taped up there, which I thought was pretty good, obviously. And then we went and made the trip on over to Oak Grove. Very unique situation, very beautiful stadium, perfect stadium. You couldn't ask for better weather, and it wasn't that hot, but it was very humid. But they treated us, they had guys there, treated us really nice the whole time. Very good experience from my standpoint to being planted with you guys. But at this time, Coach, I'm going to let you, take over from there, how you arranged all that and had it all well scripted, and it worked out to plan, by the grace of God.
Well, appreciate you coming, Bo. It was awesome having you along for the ride.
Awesome.
We wanted to give our kids a playoff type experience. So we chartered buses for this game, which is something we don't usually do. But none of our kids have ever been to the playoffs since they've been in high school. So we wanted to do that for them and give them that experience. So we chartered buses. They arrived at the school around 12. We had a seating chart lined out for them. Gave them all a mask to wear on the bus to follow the health regulations set forth by the state. So once we did that, we hopped on the bus, went over to Western Sizzling, ate, just ate pregame meal and hung out for a little while. And then we made the trip to Oakman. We appreciate Oakman High School and Coach Ryan Hall. It was very first class, letting us use their indoor for our walkthrough. And like I said, we got taped up and dressed there and arrived at Oak Grove High School. Man, what a beautiful stadium. What a very good atmosphere for our first away football game of the year. Man, our community showed up and showed out. Man, it was awesome to see all those people out there supporting our kids, and we were able to get it done on Friday night.
And Coach, it's kind of unique, and you and I talked off the camera last week about this game specifically, and how you told me straight up, we don't execute, we're not winning. And I was like, he must know what he's talking about. And man, I'm telling you, when you started scripting out how that game played out, and you ultimately got the victory, 14-6. But it was just that one snap here. Cole Hyatt had it 4th and 1 late in the fourth, fisting to go in, drive the nail off, a bad snap. And then they run a screen and they're right back in it. 14-6 at that point.
Right.
Because you had them 14-0, fisting to go up 21-0. And then the next, maybe the 2 series later, y'all go up for a 21-6, and you get a holding call.
Right.
So it never was comfortable, but the effort was there. I'm just going to let you take an overall view of the game, and then I'll add a few more questions.
Yeah, I thought the first half, the first drive of the game, Jalen Williams was able to break loose for a 53-yard touchdown run on a power play. And, from there, it was just kind of a stalemate the whole rest of the half. I never felt like we were out of control of the game. And I'm not necessarily saying our effort was bad the first half, but it wasn't the effort we needed. At halftime, we really challenged our kids, Bo, to play with a lot more effort in the second half, and I thought we were able to do that. People look at the score of the game and say, well, you only won 14-6. Well, we doubled their score. So let me ask you this: if we'd have won 56-28, people would have said, well, you blew them out.
Yes,
well,
true.
That's the thing about what we do, and I'm not saying we blew Oak Grove out. We didn't. But at the same time, I never felt like we were out of control of the game, even though, like you said, they scored a touchdown late, made it 14-6. And, I thought Oak Grove played really hard. They had a really good plan for us on defense. But at the end of the night, we were just able to get it done.
They were wanting to, from my perspective, watching the game, they were wanting to make that game ugly. I know you guys want to do phone booth football. They wanted to do a pile-up inside the phone booth. I mean, they were shooting and trying to clog that middle up and just get bodies in the way. It seemed like their mentality defensively. And in the second half, I thought y'all did a really good job of adjusting to that. But y'all started doing some of that quick pitch stuff, which was, you basically outnumbered them on the edges there, and you did execute. Can you talk about what you were seeing that kind of started that?
Yeah, and I mean, it was just a thing where they were diving at our legs. They were trying to cut our offensive linemen. Just like you say, create a pile, and for the most part, it paid off for them. But when you do that, you give up some stuff on the perimeter. And we were able to get the sweep game going in the second half. Cole Hyatt had a few really nice runs. Dylan Harris,
he stepped up.
He did. Cole did a really nice job coming in and carrying the ball for us. at the end of the night, we didn't attempt to pass the whole game. So, we ran the ball 44 straight times, and we averaged,
awesome.
5.5 yards a carry. So, people say, well, why don't you throw the ball? Well, when you're averaging 5.5 yards a clip, why do you need to throw the ball?
No.
And ultimately, we're controlling the time of possession. We're limiting their offensive possessions. So, it just kind of paid off the way we wanted it to play off.
Dude, another thing I noticed, even when they score, Coach Thompson was over there screaming, watch for the screen, watch for the screen. But, dude, your defensive execution, man, they were throwing, they were running, wing tees, zone reads out of shotgun, doing the double handoff stuff. They were running bubble screens. They were running reverses. They were throwing a kitchen sink at y'all, but they never could get in a rhythm. Talk about that defensive effort.
Well, I thought our effort defensively was really, really good for the most part, all night. And contribute that to Coach Thompson and our defensive staff, Sean Carter, Jim Browning, Tom Lamb. I thought those guys were really ready to play. And it was nothing. There was nothing fancy about what we did. You got to get lined up and you got to go play. You got to make sure your gaps are covered. You got to make sure you tackle. I thought the one thing we didn't do a great job of the other night was tackling. But, it's week 0 game. Those things will come just the more, I can guarantee you this, we'll be tackling a lot more in practice this week. So, but yeah, I was very proud of the way our defense played. And look, that's the way we want to play. We want to run the football. We want to play defense. We'll be sound in the special teams. And, hopefully we can come out on the right end of it.
Special teams is huge this season. I've already seen in several games, jamborees, and to this point in the season, I think I've seen 7 missed extra points with my own 2 eyes. You guys are pretty consistent. Talk about that special teams unit in general for you guys.
Yeah, and the battery of Cody Fincher and Dylan Harris and Grayson Simpson. Grayson's a really good kicker. We're really thankful to have him on our team, and it makes your life a lot easier when you got a guy who can put it through the uprights more times than not. He was a first-team All-Region guy, one of our 2 first-team All-Region guys back from last year. And, man, just really excited about him and what he brings to the table. I thought our kicking game was pretty good for the most part. We let him get a good long kickoff return late in the game. I thought there was a peel back block on the play, but it wasn't called. So,
yeah,
that's those things happen. Officials don't ever see it. They don't see everything. They're not perfect. But, I thought for the most part our kicking game was pretty good for the most part.
Man, I thought y'all did an excellent job. All 3 phases of the team contributed, and anytime you're on the road, that's huge, because if you have one letdown and one of those 3 phases, that game could have easily, one botch snap and they run it back for a touchdown. I mean, this thing could have been another way. But and also your fans, man. This is an hour and a half drive, and it's not the most fun drive to get there. It's out a little piece, but to look back and hear, you guys are actually louder than their stands. To see an hour and a half drive like that and have your stands actually louder than their stands, what does that mean to you that the community's obviously buying into this, what you're selling?
Well, man, it was really special. It was special for me at the end of the game, because you didn't realize how many people were behind you.
Tons.
And then, because I'm not looking in the stands during the game, but, after the game was over, we went to sing the alma mater with our band. Man, it was awesome. It was really special for our kids and for our community to show up in droves like that. Gives these kids a lot more confidence than they think. So, we appreciate Asheville and all the cities showing up and being there for us.
Man, all right. So now when you got back here, obviously you're one of those guys that does not stop working. You already start looking ahead. You got Southeastern coming up, who's another very tough opponent, another opponent that can beat you if you do not execute. Right. You don't do what Asheville does. Talk about what you've seen from those guys so far on film.
Well, the thing about Southeastern is they're very good at what they do. They're a lot like us in the sense of they're going to do what they do. And if you look back, I think Coach Bird has been there. I think this is going to be his 4th or 5th year there. But, man, he has done a fantastic job turning that program around. Southeastern, for everybody that doesn't know, is a relatively new school in Blount County. It's right between Aniana and Pinson. I think it's on 75. Is that 75? 75. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's right there on 75. And man, for a long time, they really struggled in football. Coach Bird he was down in South Alabama at Sweetwater. He was down there with Coach Luker. And, man, he has done a fantastic job. Their kids are strong. They're physical. He's got some good athletes. They're just really good at what they do. Just so far looking at them on film, they're really physical. Got some good players. Offensively, they're a wing T offense, so they're pretty similar to what we do. They just do it from under center. Man, their quarterback is a really good player. Got some other good skilled guys around them, and defensively, man, they just play really hard. and just really get after you.
This might be one of those games that's over in about an hour and a half.
Yeah.
Now, I seen them play in Jacksonville. They were very physical in the spring jamboree. They were very physical. They had a lot of hats to the football, and they seemed like they didn't make many mistakes. So they played, not like you guys, not the same way, but it's similar style, which is, they want to control the clock, they want to control the line of scrimmage, and they don't beat themselves.
Right, absolutely, and that's the big thing is, it's going to be one of those games where it's only decided by a handful of plays. I mean, you can say that about a lot of games, but this is the kind of game where it's whoever makes the least amount of mistakes, especially late, is probably going to have the best chance of winning the football game. Thankfully, we're able to get them at home this year and not have to travel over there. Last year, we showed up and they whooped us. I mean, they beat us 21-13, but really we busted 2 plays on offense, and other than that, we didn't pee a drop the whole rest of the night. They really shut us down offensively. So hopefully we can give a better effort this time around.
And Coach, before we shut this down, after breaking down, you guys' portion on the film, what were some of the things that you really could hang your hat on, really liked, enjoyed seeing on film from your guys, and what are some of the biggest concerns that you got to get fixed immediately?
Well, the offensive line I thought was a real bright spot. I mean, they really got after it the whole game. I mean, even the plays we didn't get a bunch of yards on. I mean, we had a hat on a hat, and we were blocking folks. To say I'm concerned about something right now, I'm not. We've just got to clean up what we do. We got to get better at what we do, and that just comes with repetition. We got to just continue to preach the fundamentals to our kids, blocking and tackling, playing their butts off, and just taking it one snap at a time, one game at a time.
Being at home, before we shut it down, what's that going to feel like? Because we got a new attitude here, and I know everybody's been waiting to see these guys. And for those guys who couldn't make the trip out last week, obviously it's probably going to be here this week. Talk about how special it's going to be right out here, right outside your field house here.
Yeah, I think it's going to be awesome. Ken Logan, I expect, our kids are expecting, and I'm expecting a big crowd. So I hope everybody in the cities will come show up and show out and support our kids. They've really worked their butts off, and it would mean the world to them, I know, to have everybody come out and support them. So I think it's going to be an electric atmosphere here in Ken Logan on Friday night.
No doubt. Shay, I appreciate you, brother. I know you got to get busy. You already had guys in here working out. So you guys have a great day, and looking forward to seeing you guys again next Sunday.
Thanks, bud. Appreciate it.
Hammer down, I'll say it.
Hammer down.